verbal or life.
Obviously, we're not going to find anything about the Jeffrey Epstein list, or no more information is going to come out. So what does that mean? Moving on to whatever's next. And for Trump, there's always something next. Every day going through new troubles. Now is the illegals. ICE has to battle with regular citizens to try to deport all the illegals, just like Trump promised. Let's take a look at Jesse Watters Primetime, because moving on to the next battle, no more Jeffrey Epstein. Let's talk about illegals. By the way, my name is Noel here at Verbal on Life. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you enjoy the content. Remember to give this video a thumbs up before you go anywhere. All right, let's take a look at what's next for Trump. Gotta love politics. Best time.
Joe Biden let millions of bad hombres waltz across our border with no vetting, then gave them bus tickets and flew them all across the country. If you said the word invasion, they called you racist.
Hold on.
And now that Trump's giving these guys the boot, Democrats have finally decided.
Jesus, my internet. In any case, yes, Biden let in a whole bunch of illegals, and now I can't believe there's so many people standing up for them while Trump is just trying to clean up the streets. We got to give Trump a shout out for helping out clean the streets.
Decided there is an invasion, just a different kind.
So they've been trying to tell us Republicans that the invasion is coming from south of the border. It would seem that the invasion into American cities is coming from law enforcement deployed by this administration to terrorize communities. Am I getting that?
You know, this doesn't help, man. This is so obvious. MSNBC, supposed to be on the side of government, but because it's a right-wing government, because it's Trump, what the hell is she talking about? How about put a news piece about how we got to help the government? This is insane.
All right.
No, you're absolutely right. This president has unleashed a war on our own people and our communities. It is terrorizing our communities.
If men can be women and Liz Warren can be Indian, deportations can be invasions. Why not? It's starting to escalate. Democrats are calling ICE Nazis, and now Donald Trump's the terrorist in chief.
You know, words matter so much. And I got to give a shout out to the left, the intellectuals who learn how to twist things to make it fit their narrative. Insane.
Not just fear, Jen, but actual terror that people are feeling, not just in Los Angeles, but especially in Los Angeles, because that's clearly Donald Trump's target right now. This is what Donald Trump wants. He wants the theatrics. He wants to send the message and escalate the terror.
Yeah, you're supposed to send fear that if you're breaking the law, you're going to jail, and it's not going to be pretty. Jail is ugly. Put it out there for everybody who doesn't know.
That people are feeling.
Socialist sleeper cells heard the call and are reporting for duty. One guy just got arrested for threatening to kill Trump, Pam Bondi, and Stephen Miller. And if you want to get to Miller, you got to go through me first. Now that college jihadis are out for school for the summer, they've moved on from defending Hamas to Jose. A battalion of icebreakers tried to overpower agents outside an immigration court in San Francisco. Wow.
Like putting your hands on an officer, man, that should have severe penalties. Fighting a cop or an ICE agent, these people should suffer consequences so everybody else can learn. We just don't do that. This is insane.
Stay away from my gun! Stay away from my gun!
Blue-haired cat ladies are on the loose, too. And they're Bridget McCroning ICE agents in broad daylight.
Not replying. And the moment I get something,
Now, in case you need a reminder about who these protesters are fighting for, this guy just got iced in Nebraska just this morning. An MS-13 kingpin. He's wanted in El Salvador for 5 homicides and is on that country's most wanted list. Would Democrats prefer a guy wanted for 5 homicides to keep hanging out in Omaha? Seems like it, because yesterday, anarchists tried blowing out the tires of a Border Patrol vehicle in California. They got handcuffed, and now we have the mugshots. Ladies, feast your eyes on that. And get this. Remember we told you about that crew that ambushed ICE in tactical gear? One of the attackers' husbands, Biden gave him a green card. And now he's been arrested for tampering.
And you know what's crazy? That regular media doesn't report none of this. You don't hear none of it on regular TV. How about how these are big-time criminals? People got to be informed. None of it gets the headlines.
With evidence while feds were serving a search warrant. Trump says he's just the tip of the iceberg.
It's very sad. It's very bad. A lot of them are here. We came in and 21 million, I think it's higher than that, by the way, but they say 21 million people came in. Many of them are criminals. Many of them are murderers. 11,888 is what they say are murderers. And they came in through open border policies, no checking, no vetting, no nothing.
47 says, it doesn't matter who you are. If you attack our agents, we'll find you.
And they try to use regular working illegals, if you want to say that, to mix it up with the criminals. Like, let's clear out the criminals first, and then let's see what Trump does. You know, what he's going to do with the rest of the people that are maybe here working, trying to do things better, although they already broke the law by coming into America. But at the very least, they're not continuing to break the law by hurting others or hurting the people that live here who are trying to work 9 to 5, who are just trying to live their life. You know what it is to have to deal with these people? Crazy.
Do you think that this was an isolated incident, or do you think there's a national threat of a left-wing militia that is targeting ICE and CBP?
Well, I think you have some very stupid people in the left who have some money that are making it available to these people, because you look at the guns they had, they were brand new. You look at even the clothing they were wearing, it looked like it just came out of some military shop. So you have some very stupid people that if anything ever happened, they'd be the first to go. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Some ICE agents are choosing to wear masks because they're getting filmed by cartels and Trantifa while they're just doing their duty. And their families are getting doxxed, and they're getting death threats. But Eric Swalwell thinks ICE agents are cowards. He says real men don't hide their faces. Well, then Swalwell's not a real man because he hid his face for 2 years, which, in a way, we appreciate. Democrats finally found a mask they don't like, and now they're trying to pass a bill that prevents law enforcement from keeping their identities and their families safe.
Again, the narrative, man, they are crazy. Like, just using common sense. How is it that these maniacs are always on the wrong side of things? Like, this just makes common sense.
Trump was asked about this today.
They wouldn't be saying that if they didn't hate our country. You put them in great danger, tremendous danger. And it's sort of funny when people picket in front of Columbia, in front of Harvard, and they have masks on, more than masks. I mean, you can't see anything. Nobody complains about that. But when a patriot who works for ICE or Border Patrol puts a mask on so that they won't recognize him and his family, so they can lead a little bit of a normal life after having worked so hard and so dangerously.
Democrat voters are out for blood, and they want their elected leaders to do the same. Hips don't lie, Hakeem, refusing to tell his own people to stand down.
One House Democrat saying, quote, and I'll read it to you, our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not good enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. How do you respond to that?
Well, we are in a more is more environment in terms of the unprecedented assault on the American way of life and our country.
This guy is the worst. Nobody listens to him. Or you know what? The few that are listening to him, they got to wake up. He sounds like a beta man.
Country that has been launched by Donald Trump and compliant House Republicans.
So after January 6th, Democrats told every Republican condemn. But now that their people are trying to kill federal agents in cold blood, silent. John Fetterman, he might be the only person on that side of the aisle who backs the blue.
Absolutely unacceptable, terrible, awful. ICE agents are just doing their job, and I fully support that. And for me, and people in my party might, want to abolish it or, treat them as criminals or anything. That's inappropriate and outrageous. ICE performs an important job for our nation.
Violent illegals are off the streets, but Karen's begging the courts to bring them back.
We have to stop this mess. The idea of having troops go through the park and disrupt the children's summer camp or drive through the streets and just pick people off the streets. We don't know if a kidnapping is happening or what. And so our city attorney is leading the way. We're filing a lawsuit. We're calling for an injunction for this to stop. I'm clear about my job, which is to make sure that this city is safe for all Angelenos, regardless of when you came here, what country you came from, or why.
Karen was knocking back cocktails in Africa while her city burned. And then 6 months later, she let it burn again. She's not keeping her city safe. She's keeping it safe for MS-13. And the park ICE raided? There's no summer camp there. Look at it. That's a park it's like a ᖃ데ᗰကိplayground. It's riddled with needles and junkies. She should thank ICE for cleaning that mess up. And she should thank Trump for what he's doing with the traffic. Illegals are so scared of getting iced in LA, they're all hiding or self-deporting. And the freeway's wide open, we're hearing. It's not bumper to bumper as much on the 405 anymore. At least that's what sources are telling Primetime. Trump's doing what he was elected to do, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. The only thing Democrats want more than cheap labor is to get their own mugshots. And now some are practically begging to be deported.
Here's the thing. They're not going after criminals. They're going after anybody that is brown, that looks like me, that can't pass as what they...
Like, for him to say that, for anybody brown that looks like me, like, don't they have a license? Don't they have ID? Aren't they citizens or immigrants? Like, these are not just illegal people that are getting thrown into a van. So for CNN to play this just shows you what the mainstream media is peddling. What's the message they're sending out? What's the narrative that they want to set and put out there? Like, regular people are getting attacked. No. How about criminals are getting attacked? This is so stupid.
As a typical American. That's why you're getting people who are not undocumented actually arrested. That's the fear that exists.
No.
If Trump was going after brown skin, wouldn't we have heard of one American wrongfully deported? Just one? It's July. There's a lot of brown out there. So far, Homan's batting 1,000. Jails are filling up fast, and Alligator Alcatraz has its first inmates. And like most inmates, they're not happy. All 3 detainees told their wives that the bugs were getting inside. One of them saying that grasshoppers the size of his hand were springing into the tent. One detainee sent to Alligator Alcatraz from a Florida jail following a dispute with his ex was bitten on his face by mosquitoes a few times in his sleep. Oh my gosh. I can't believe an illegal got a mosquito bite. He's surrounded by alligators. He should be happy that's the only bite he got. It's not as bad as Abu Ghraib, okay? The migrants also complained the tents were a little too nippy. They might be the only people in Florida saying they're too cold. And while the illegals might need a couple of fly swatters and an extra blanket, the left is saying this is straight out of Nazi Germany.
We are normalizing a government agency disappearing people. We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they...
We're normalizing federal agencies doing their job, all right? Apprehending illegal people and sending them back to where they came from. How about that? You know, what's the fear? As a matter of fact, if you fear anything, why don't you leave the country? She got a problem, then maybe you should get out of this country, go somewhere else.
Are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps, both domestic.
Again, the narrative, kidnapping, concentration camps. What are we talking about here? Who is she talking to here? You know, oh my God.
And foreign.
Are there gas ovens at these?
It's not a death camp. It doesn't matter. It's a
camp.
concentration camp what they're doing, and they are disappearing people, claiming that these are people who have committed the most harsh crimes. But according to the reporting, less than 10% of these people have committed harsh crimes.
You know who else gets
breaking into the country? It's a crime. Stop labeling harsh. Just a crime. Let's keep it simple. Don't complicate the narrative.
It's disappeared. Americans who commit crimes and go to jail. Remember when they tried to disappear Trump? That sure came back to bite. Nationally syndicated radio host Dana Lash is here. All right, so it's getting hot at Alligator Alcatraz. These mosquitoes, whew, they better watch out.
Gosh, these poor people who came into the country illegally and then continued committing crimes, like serious crimes, like human trafficking and drug trafficking and beating their women and beating their children and God knows what else. I'm so sad that they're not in the Ritz. That's what they expect, Jesse, because they saw how Democrats made it for everybody in New York. And they're like, I want some of that. I want to be in the Waldorf Astoria. I want to be in the Ritz. I want to be at the W. And they thought they were going to get the same treatment, I guess, in Florida. But nope, they don't put up with stuff like that in Florida. It's camping. Just tell them that they're glamping out in the swamp, and then maybe it will go over a little bit better and they'll stop complaining so much.
I mean, Dana, the Maryland dad had it made in the shade down in that prison in El Salvador. He was playing video games. He was fishing. I think he was playing with a parakeet we saw. This is insane.
Like a concentration camp, apparently, you know, because they have games and parakeets and people go and have margaritas with you at the concentration camp. I feel like some of these people skipped a few history classes if they think that that's what it is.
So these guys now want to unmask ICE. And you're seeing ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, police officers around these ICE facilities. They're getting shot at. I mean, it's no wonder they don't want the public to film them. It is a dangerous job.
Yeah, exactly. And cartels have already put bounties on them. I mean, they've threatened their families. Who would want to do this job when you're not only being attacked by cartels across the border and some in the border in the country, but also people that are demanding to stay after they enter illegally, and then they and their left-wing supporters are attacking you for literally doing the base level of their job. And that's what everybody seems to forget on the left about this. This is the law of the land. Democrats love this law of the land until all of a sudden when it became passé for them to enforce what the Republic has passed as laws through the authority of these people's vote. So if they're unhappy with it, they got to ask, why didn't Democrats fight harder to change it, especially when they controlled all of D.C. under Barack Obama, or even before then with Bill Clinton? I mean, we can go back really far. The thing is, they don't want to. They don't want to change it. They just want something to complain about. I'm so happy this is being forced. Kudos to them for doing it, and Uncle Tom Homan. God love him.
Would you call him Uncle Tom Homan?
Oh, Uncle Tom Homan. I wish that we were related. I feel like we are. I'm going to pretend we are.
All right, it's like me and Maxine Watters. We're related at heart. Thank you so much, Dana. Host of the Takedown, Chris Hansen. So everyone's on the left giving these guys guff for the mask. Swalwell says you're not a man if you wear a mask.
Attacks against ICE agents are up 413%. You've got with websites called the LAPD use facial recognition to identify LAPD officers. The same artist, Kyle McDonald, who says he uses code to create playful websites, had another one called ICE Spy, which he did the same thing with ICE agents. Now, when police use facial recognition, it's to catch violent criminals, predators. But to have protesters and abolitionists, as they call themselves now, use it, it's doxing. It's taking an undercover federal agent potentially and identifying them to the bad guys who are either importing fentanyl or engaging in human trafficking. And we see this in our investigations all the time, where we hide the identities of some of these people because they go undercover. And we saw again just recently in a sting in Genesee County, Michigan, Jesse, with Sheriff Chris Watson and his ghost team, where somebody who wasn't supposed to be in this country, shouldn't be here, showed up to exploit a child. Take a look at Luis from El Salvador.
You ask her, have you ever had sex with someone my age? She says, only 30. You call her sweetheart. You ask for the address. And then how long did you drive to get here, Louis?
No.
Hour and a half. And during that 90 minutes, at any time did you say to yourself, Louis, you're 59 years old, You don't have U.S. citizenship.
When you are like that,
We shouldn't-
you, don't,
shouldn't
you
be-
just don't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you should think.
Wow. How old was she?
She was 15 in this case, yes. 15 years old, and he was 59. Laden said he was in his 40s, as if that makes it any better. But we see this all the time in these sting operations, and that is why ICE has to crack down. Now, there's a legitimate debate to be had about, immigration policy, but the way to win the debate is not to dox federal agents.
No. And if some guy like that or the MS-13 kingpin is being caught, we should be saying gracias.
I was on the phone today with HSI and ICE in several foreign countries working on a story. If one of those guys got exposed, it could not only cripple the investigation, it could endanger them and their families.
Absolutely. We don't want any more of that. Chris Hansen, take down. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So what happens when Biden's doctor goes under oath?
All right, I'm going to pause it. A lot is going on with the illegal migrants. Yes, Doximo, my parents had to apply to get in this country, and now you got all these criminals who came in because of Biden let them all in, and Trump got to deal with the hell of not just the criminals, but the citizens that are trying to say, oh my God, he's getting rid of not just illegals, but regular citizens are getting kidnapped and sent to concentration camp. That narrative, but we got to go out there and talk against it. You know how it is, but all right, you know what? I'm going to have to cut today's stream short because tomorrow I got a big mission. I'm going through a divorce and the wife decided to give me back the car, but she's making it super complicated. She says I got to go pick it up in Connecticut and I'm in PA. So that's a good, 5-hour drive. Now I got to take a cab from here to Connecticut. And once I get there, then bring the car back. So we're talking about a 10-hour drive. But let's say you got to stop and pause and all of that. So it's really like 12 hours. So I'm about to go on a 12-hour mission to a whole another state. And when I get there, I hope the car doesn't have a lock, what's it called? A driver lock. I want to give her a call on my way over there, let her know, please make sure the car is available and ready to go. She said it's there, but I forgot to ask if she has a lock, a driver's lock. I just don't want to see this individual. I just want my car and I want to go home. How about that narrative? And then, oh God, just really depressing. With that said, ¿qué tú quieres? ¿Quieres YouTube? So yes, my lawyer got upset today because I was going to put in a court order to get the car back, but now I don't have to because she's giving it back. So saving some money on that point of view. But then with the global proposal, she wants $120,000 given at $1,000 a month for 20 years. What a proposal. You want $1,000 a month, or is it for 10 years? For 10 years. If you want $1,000 a month for 10 years, that's $120,000. And we're talking about a marriage that only lasted 6 years. I'm broke. So now I'm supposed to quit everything to give you $1,000 a month. Depressing. So that depresses the shit out of me. Now I got to figure out how to convince my lawyer to put together an argument to give her $0 back. Because on those 6 years, she contributed nothing to the marriage. It was all me. But now, not only do you want a divorce, but you want to be compensated for going through hell for 6 years with me? That makes no sense. Now, tomorrow I hope to survive because that's the only way I get to continue to live my life without having to deal with this individual. But enough of me. With that said, hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Noel. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and a like before you get out of here. See you in the next video. Peace. Wait, what am I doing? Why she got my hat on? All right, let me figure this out. She got my hat on.